Hey there, it's Pete with GCI Turf. Hope you're having a great day. But check this out. Here's what I got going on. All right, so here's my garden, and I'm going to do lots of garden videos this year. Show you all about planting this stuff. Show you the results of the garden throughout the whole year, along with all the yard stuff that we do. The yard's really coming out. The neighbor's test plot, I got it seeded. Or spot seeded. I had a few spots that didn't come in all that great, so I had to spot seed it. But man, she's really looking good. The bluegrass is looking good right here, and it's I'm starting to push it a little bit with a little spoon feeding, and also that moss is starting to check out. So we'll do an update on that later. But right now, what I need to do is get ready for the summer garden. All right, so this is pretty basic, pretty simple. PVC pipe cutters. Of course, you'll need them. You need some PVC pipe, some glue, cement, PVC cement. I'm gonna need 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 of these boxes. I've got one, so I'll have to actually go to the store and the irrigation store and get some. One thing I'll do is I'll take my my cutters right here and I'll cut these off. I don't know if irrigation guys, we don't do irrigation with our company, so you know, I'm somewhat new. What I know about it, I've just kind of picked up on my own. I don't know if these actually come off or you leave them in, but my irrigation pipe, my PVC pipe, will fit up in here like this and kind of run, you know, run in between there, and the valve will be in the middle. So let's get to digging. This will kind of be my, that'll be the main line. I'll tee off of it, and then the actual valve will be down in this box right here, and then that'll go to each individual zone or each individual bed, whatever you want to call it. Prime it first with a little bit of cleaner. That's both parts. I'm going to do all 3 of these while I got it. And one thing I am doing is I'm putting a T, you know, with my T, I'm putting a little bit of an extension, because I'm going to come out here and put its own individual cutoff valve, and then I'll use one of those irrigation boxes where I can reach down and I can cut this part off from the entire system if I ever need to. I already made that mistake one time. I'm not going to make it again. Make sure you get that straight as quick as possible, because once you put it on there, it's gonna set up pretty quickly. Clean the top off. And no, in case you're wondering, I'm not a plumber by trade, so yes, this is a little messy, I'm sure, by some standards, but I don't really care. As long as my water pipes don't leak, that's all that matters to me. And it'll be underground anyway. Nobody will ever see it. All right, so I got my main line in and then got each individual T off of it. Now I need to put my valves in there. You'll notice on the valve, it's got like a little arrow right here. See this little arrow? That tells you which way the flow should go. So you don't want it installed that way with the arrow pointing back toward the water. You want it like that. And this will be your inlet, and then with the arrow pointing out will be your outlet. Now one thing I like to do is get my valve box in here where I kind of want it, and I'll take me a marker and just kind of hold the valve right in the center and come in here and mark it. You can see my mark I got right in there, and that way I know where to cut. And then on the other end it really don't matter because it just slides in the other side. But that front cut, I want it to be right. I don't want the valve too far up in the box or too far in the back. I want it kind of right in the center. Make sure your valve's sticking straight up and down. I think that's common sense. And that's kind of what it'll look like sitting in the box. Now to speed things up for my next cuts, I'll just take this piece right here and mark it. And then use that and kind of hold it up against the other ones and cut those, because it should be the same length for each of them. I've dug the holes the same and everything's the same, so it should work out just fine like that. All right, so I made another little adjustment right here. Now, first of all, I've got to go to the irrigation store and get some more supplies. I don't have exactly what I need. I've got to get the other valve boxes. This is going to come out elbow up and then elbow over, and I'll tell you why I have to do it that way when I'm doing that. So these are all ready to go. I didn't have an elbow. This is my end joint right here, and I didn't have an elbow, so I've got to pick one of those up. But this is going to turn out pretty good, I believe. I should be able to finish it up tomorrow afternoon, but the pipe's going to kind of lay across the ground right here, and it's going to have a quick connect right there so that I can unscrew it and remove from there all the way up. Now the reason I'm having to do that is once in a blue moon, every 4 or 5 years or whatever, I like to rototill, and I'll come in and till it up just like I've done this right here. I don't till year after year after year. I'm not a fan of that. We'll talk about that later. But when I do have to till, I need to be able to undo that and remove all the irrigation from there up and just kind of slide it over the way so I can till, and then I can easily hook it back up and get to rolling again. All right, so I made a trip to the irrigation store, got some more fittings, valve boxes. I picked that bad boy up. That's just like I got up there at the house. Just wanted them to match. I kind of like that one. That's the Rainbird ESP Me Wi-Fi. Whoop, whoop. All right, so you can see I got it coming up and then out of the ground in an elbow. You can kind of see how that does right there. And then I'm gonna put a union right here. That way I can detach this section when I need to till. So I think that's going to be about my best option right here. But you can see it's coming along nicely. So I'm gonna get with this and wrap it up and show you the finished product. Alright, so this is what's going to attach to the soaker hose. It's just a 1/2 inch barb by 3/4 inch pipe thread. I'm going to put my Teflon tape on like so. 2 or 3 wraps is good. A little trick when doing Teflon tape is I'll hold it where the Teflon tape comes off the top, and then I'll roll it around like this. That would be counterclockwise, I believe. That way, when your tape is on, it tightens down with the loose end going with the threads like that. That way, when you screw on your fitting, it doesn't unravel the tape. You just take your adjustable wrench, lock it on that head right there, screw it down good and snug like that. Then here's a coupler. This will go in here with glue, and then the other end to the end of the pipe like that. And yeah, I know they make one with the threads that just slides over the pipe, but they didn't have any, so that's what I'm going with. Let's do one more right here and I'll show you. Got this in my left hand, this in my right. I'm going to take the tape and go on the bottom side. I'm going to kind of push it in the grooves a little bit and kind of hold it with that right hand. And see how I'm going around it this way. And I'm kind of putting a little bit of tension on it as I go. Let me try to hold it like this and go this way. Like so. And when I get it there, I'll hold it tight, pinch it off. And you can see that little piece right there. See that lip right there, the end of it? Where's my part? See how when you screw that on, see how it presses it down into the threads? It's going that way. It's kind of hard to explain this, but if my piece was sticking back this way, if I put the tape on the backwards way, what it would do is it would unravel it. Okay, so this way I've got it going with the way I'm screwing this on. That's the only way I know how to explain it. It's kind of hard to describe that, but hopefully you get the idea of what I'm doing. Just like that. Alright, so the most important cut of the day. I left all this loose right here so I could kind of move the other end around a little bit. Definitely don't want to cut this too short or too long. Now I am going to pull this forward just a pinch so it lines up straight. Right about here is where my my lip is. So I'm basically going to get up here and hold it. Let me get this out of the way. I'm going to hold it right there, hold it steady where I want it. Put my finger right there so I know where to cut. Right there. Bingo. Now, one good thing about this is none of it's covered up, so if this is off a smidgen, I can just slide it down a smidgen or whatever. So we're not building a piano here. We're just making some garden irrigation. A little pipe cement, whatever you call this stuff. Sealer, cement. What is it called? Solvent cement. I'll pull that up. Push it together, hold it for a minute. Bingo. Look at there. Woohoo! The plumbing is done. Now you can see how this is right here. How that kind of just fits right over top of the pipe, those little cutouts. I did have to backfill a little bit and build it up a little bit. But all I have to do now is run my wire in here and connect my wires. Then I can backfill my ditch. Alright, so I went by Lowe's and grabbed the right wire, and you can see I've got a 7-strand wire right here. Well, one of them's going to be a ground, We're just going to pick the white, will be the ground right here. We'll skin that back a little bit. And then for this end zone, let's go with green. We'll say green's number 5. This is the last zone in the in a row, so we'll name it the last one. Start with 1 down there closest to the well. So I've got 2 wires that go to a valve. And I don't think it matters which one's hot and which one's ground, from what I understand. So we're just going to pick one right here and let it be the white. Let me get these other ones out of the way, fold them back a little bit. It's a little easier for you to see. Waterproof connectors for sure. Just going to kind of give it a little twist around. Let that catch. I'm going to put this on nice and snug. When you're putting these on, you can kind of feel them bite when they're good and tight, just like that. And here's my other one. Like so. And that one's done. Of course, you don't need these because the white will connect to one of the wires on each valve. You just kind of splice into it and pull the white out, and then the each color represents a zone, and so the other wire on the valve will attach to pick a color, doesn't matter. So this will kind of go down in here like that. This will go like this. And when I'm doing this, I do like to leave a little bit of slack in the wire, actually plenty, in case I ever get a bad connection or whatever happens in the future. I've got plenty of wire to work with in there. I don't have to dig it all back up and redo it. So as I'm going down the row, I'll put a little bit of dirt in the ditch to kind of keep the wire from getting all jacked up and keep it nice and neat. All right, so I get right here and I'm gonna kind of loop this one up in here like this, because I don't want to break my connection on my green wire. That green wire is gonna go all the way back to the box, the control box. But now the other ones, it really don't matter, because they're not, the power's not going from here to the last zone, if that makes any sense. Other than the color that I picked for this one. Of course, you don't want that one broke either, going back to the box. And again, irrigation guys, please, if I'm learning, I like to learn things. By no means do I know it all, and I love learning new things about my job. And so if I'm at all doing anything incorrectly, please comment and get me squared away on it, because I definitely want to do it the right way. There probably is an easier way of splicing into this. If it is, I don't know. I'm not an electrician, so I don't know. Alright, so there we go. I'm going to come here with my white wire. Alright, remember we're green on the other one, on the first zone. So we don't want to cut that green wire, that's for sure. The white one, I'm going to come right here in the middle, cut it right in two, because I need to be able to tie into one of these. And of course you want all 3 of these white wires hooked together now, so it creates a loop. So green is out of the question. Let's go with blue. That's awful dark for blue. Now you can see I left the blue, one of the blue, I didn't skin it back. That one don't matter. I don't need that one because there's no need for the power to go that way. So I'm just tapping into the end on the controller side. So I've got the 2 white and the 1 wire for the control valve right here. And we'll put all those together. Tighten them down. So now I've closed that ground loop back up, but I've added the ground to this. And let's come over here with the other power. Alright, so that's that. Now one thing I will do before I cover this up, I'll come in here and put me a little tape around this and kind of neaten it up and make it look nice and pretty. Which I don't really necessarily think it needs to be nice and pretty. It's in a garden, but you all know how I am by now. Alright, so I've got my wire ran, and all of them are done. Got all of them connected. Even got one over there. I'm going to do another video and show you what that is. Now what I've done is I've looped it back around and doubled back and coming through, because I need to go underground, under my 2x8, and then go up through the bottom of the building, because sorry, the building's a wreck. I'm gonna need to clean it. Here's my outlet, so I'm gonna mount the control box somewhere right in here, so I've got to get my wire inside. Alright, so I've got me a drill bit, and it's pretty much just a touch bigger than the hose itself. And I'm gonna drill a hole over there in that 2x4 and go straight through the floor, and then I'll go to Lowe's or somewhere and get some silicone or putty or something to put around that to seal it off. And I'm also going to run a piece of PVC pipe from the bottom down to the dirt as kind of like a sleeve for that. And I'm sorry again for the mess, but that's what it looks like when you're running at Captain Marvel speed. I'll get it cleaned up. I know. Like a dang pigsty. We'll do a cleanup video. Get your shed right. Oh, let me look up under here and see what we're looking like. So I'm basically just going up under the building here and kind of seeing what it's like, so I don't drill a hole I don't need to drill. Come over here where you can see me. Right here with it. Woohoo! Got lucky on that one. Now the building's kind of low on this side, so my fat tail can't get up under there. So what I've done is I've taken a little short piece and put a hook on it. Look at there, stick it in a hole. That way I can fill it on the bottom side and push the real wire up through there. Oh snap! Ah. Oh boy, I got lucky. Oh my gosh. It is right on the edge of a joist. Huh. Let's see how this is going to work. Oh yeah. Woo. Hallelujah. Glad that worked. Go pull it from the inside. All right. Now, that's a little excessive. I got plenty, but man, the last thing I wanted to do was cut that short and not have enough wire. So yeah, I wasted a little bit, but I'll use it somewhere else doing something. But man, I wanted enough wire to reach my box. All right, so you can see right there how I've got that sleeved going up. Now, I guess you could run just a straight wire up because, you know, no weed eater is ever going to be here, or nothing's ever going to come in contact with it, but just to be extra safe, I put a sleeve on it. Whew! All right, so I got everything good. I'm going to go turn the power on to the well. All right, so there's my cutoff to my irrigation to the yard. It's off. Here's my cutoff for another project over here in another video. It's cut off. And so that means the only, here's my garden irrigation I just installed. It's cut off. So that means the only thing that has live water on it would be my spigot. So that way, kind of accomplish my goal. I've got all my little irrigation systems has valves on them now, and then this one comes straight off the well. Now I'm opening this so when I turn the valve on for the well, I don't kind of saturate the system with pressure. So I don't know if that's the right way you do it or not, but that's the way I'm gonna do it. So we're gonna cut all these off. That's off, and then the way I got my line, it goes down and up and comes up and goes over and back down that way to the yard, tees off to the spigot, and then of course you see the new tees right here. Definitely want to cut this off. That's where I winterize it. And here we go. Let's see what's gonna happen here. If I can get, oh, there we go. Now my well has about 80 PSI on it at almost 30 gallon a minute, about 28. So I'm not gonna cut this thing on wide open. It's a fairly strong well. Oh, there we go, look. She's coming on out. Woo! I'll tell you what, let's do this. Let me cut that off. Let me hook a hose pipe to that and run that hose pipe out here in the yard so I don't make a muddy mess. Actually, let's do this right here. Now let's fire it up. Look at this. Look at this. No wonder them jokers like that grass. Look at how dark green that stuff is. Holy cow. Man. I'll give you a good update on that soon. But look at this, man. Thank you, Jesus, for the body to work and make money and have some nice things. Look at this right here. I got this nice irrigation thing right here set up, and I'm able to water this little area right here. Remember my seeding video? So man, thank you, Lord, for a healthy body to work and make a living. All right, so there you go. It's looking good. Now I'm gonna fill all this in right here with the dirt, and that's where my back will be hurting tonight. Plenty of ibuprofen, and I'll make another video on how I'm gonna finish from here to there, and then I got another video what I'm gonna do over there with that over there. So thank you for watching, and get your garden irrigation right. Check you later. All right, so that's what she looks like all finished up right here. Don't forget the higher bricks, all the higher bricks veggie fertilizers. I got coupon codes for all those at gciturfacademy.com under fertilizer, and then under garden fertilizer. Kind of changed up the website the way that looks. So get your fertilizer right, get your garden right, get your veggies right. I'm gonna go in here and get my supper right. Check you later. All right, before I go, you got to see this. I filled this line up with water, and I'm blowing these lines out, Watch this. That's the way you clean the line out.